All right, so Joe Biden, yes, your president, he continues to demean Republicans, those MAGA Republicans, MAGA supporters. And tonight, well, he is playing the race card yet again. Now, speaking to a crowd of one of the several high-dollar off-camera fundraisers with his little notes, this one held in California this week, he reportedly said, quote, I've served with real racists. I've served with Strom Thurmond. I've served with all these guys that have set terrible records on race. But guess what? Those guys are worse, meaning these guys are worse. Talking about Republicans, talking about modern-day Republicans. Now, House Speaker Mike Johnson, well, he replied on X, formerly known as Twitter, writing that, quote, the least popular president to seek re-election is now so desperate and so underwater in the polls, he's playing the race card from the bottom of the deck. Now, of course, Joe Biden neglected to mention that he formered with the former Klansman, praised him as his mentor and a great guy, and said he was his dear friend. And then, of course, he opposed, with Robert Byrd, the integration of public schools and busing because he didn't want schools, in his words, to become racial jungles. His words, not mine. Now, here's a little trip down memory lane. I'm sure Joe forgot all of this, but we'll remind him. Take a look.
Madam President, we have predators on our streets.
You cannot go to a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent. I'm not joking.
What kind of a chance would a northeastern liberal like Joe Biden stand in the South?
Better than anybody else. And you don't know my state. My state was a slave state. We got the first sort of mainstream African American who was articulate and bright and clean and a nice-looking guy. I mean, that's a storybook.
They're going to put you all back in chains. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
We got more questions.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
Wow, unbelievable. Now, let's not forget Biden's own vice president. Vice President Harris called him out in that debate in the primary going back to 2020. You might recall this. Take a look.
When Vice President Biden was in the United States Senate working with segregationists to oppose busing, had I been in the United States Senate at that time, I would have been completely on the other side of the aisle. And it was not only that, but you also worked with them to oppose busing. And, you know, there was a little girl in California who was part of the second class to integrate her public schools. And she was bused to school every day. And that little girl was me.
Now, Joe Biden playing the race card like this, well, he's desperate, but it's deplorable. It's disgusting. It's repulsive. But frankly, when your numbers are as low as his is, well, it's also fairly predictable. Joe's struggling, and he is clearly now more desperate than ever. Joining us now, South Carolina Senator, our friend Tim Scott is back with us. Senator, great to have you.
Thank you, Sean, very much. Thank you. How disgusting and despicable are the comments of Joe Biden? I just stunning.
I mean, I don't even know what to make of this. Let me ask you this, and I really want you to give your full comments.
Yes.
This guy opposed the integration of schools and busings. He didn't want public schools to be racial jungles. Could you imagine the outcry of any Republican presidential candidate if they ever said something that repulsive?
The things that Joe Biden has said in the face of African Americans, despicable. The actions he has taken as a member of the most elite governing body as a senator, incredible, disgusting. Here's what we know about Joe Biden, and we know this about liberals and progressives. Whenever they are on the losing end of a conversation, a competition, or an election, they do one thing. They go to race and class. It's all they know. It's the party of division. It is the game of fear, and it is disgusting. Sean, we know without any question, this is a president who allows our southern border to be wide open, devastating the economic opportunities of people today living in poverty. We know that this is a president who's driven inflation to the highest levels since Jimmy Carter, devastating African Americans, Hispanics, women, and the majority population. This is the president who has allowed our men and women in uniform to suffer through a commander-in-chief who seems to be asleep at the wheel, botched withdrawal from Afghanistan, war in Ukraine, conflict in the Middle East, and instability in the Indo-Pacific, while we have an open southern border with thousands of Chinese, thousands of people from the Middle East coming across our southern border. He turns to race to get the attention off of his absolute failure as president and commander-in-chief of the greatest nation on God's green earth. That's why we need 4 more years of Donald Trump.
You know, we talked earlier. I mean, he's at 38% approval rating. You got 86% of the country saying this man is too old to be president 4 more years. I don't know how anybody overcomes those numbers. Now, we're watching what's happening with President Trump, and I call it lawfare, or the weaponization of our justice system. And they're targeting one man, one family, one organization. I guess they want to keep Donald Trump, if they can, in court rather than out on the campaign trail. But so far, Donald Trump has been able to defy conventional political gravity, and he survives this. But this will go on for the next, 256 days until Election Day. How do you think that plays out?
Listen, every time I'm seriously just leaving a rally, just left a rally with Donald Trump. Thousands upon thousands of South Carolinians waiting outside to get in to hear the next president talk about the 2-tiered justice system. How under President Biden, the Department of Justice and states' attorney generals hunt Republicans, not just him, because if they'll do it to him, Sean, they'll do it to me, and you know they'll do it to you. Here's a man, Donald Trump, willing to stand in the fire to keep America safe, to keep Americans safe from a 2-tiered, weaponized justice system. This is the man who can take the heat in the kitchen and come out without a single shred of anything on him. No beads of sweat, no dust on his shoulders. He is ready for the fight. It's Joe Biden. He has to go down. As he just said, let's fire Joe Biden. Let's hire Donald Trump and get inflation down, crime down. Let's refund the police, not defund the police. All that we're seeing in lawfare is an attempt to distract the American voter and Donald Trump from the mission at hand.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.